Okay, so Bitcoin is testing a very important price support right now. So we're going to talk about that. Then we're going to jump into Mars stock and make sense of that as well, like we always do. But first, remember this support area is the same one from yesterday. I have not changed it. So we're going to talk about it in some detail. Remember, everything I say in this video is just my own personal opinion. It's just what I'm doing. And I like to share it with you guys. So please do your own due diligence. This is just what I'm doing. So yesterday I showed you guys the IBIT position I opened for this swing trade. I'm doing it a little bit differently, like I said yesterday, and I'm going to explain to you guys why this foundation for the swing trade with IBITs, 50,000 invested, is important because we don't have a bullish confirmation in just yet, right? We're waiting on that. So I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about the price support, what it means, and then what I'm expecting going forward, and the alternative scenario, and how I'm going to, of course, modify the trade for that. So right now, um, we've been following Bitcoin ever since it hit the short-term price top area for a potential overshooting wave from this corrective move down. Because during this time, if you guys remember when we were down here and we had uptrend higher, where we started, breaking past short-term resistance, holding micro supports very well, and then pushing up higher. I said it was very unfortunate that we couldn't at least see the price come down and break the previous zero point 0.5 retracement at 110.8k, and it would have also allowed the price to come down into this imbalanced value gap down here, which we're now using currently as well. So what this means is that normally when we see bigger picture wave structures like this where we come down, and technically it is good enough just because it actually did break below, even though it was very briefly, and it did come down into the overlapping support area in orange. It came down very briefly and made a new low from this one down over here, right? It didn't come down enough to break the current zero point 0.5 retracement at 111.4k, which then would allow the price to come down lower, break the previous zero point 0.5, and come a little bit deeper into the support area, which will also let the price fill in the value gap down here. Now, it's not super significant. I'm still looking for that. Potentially, I'm going to show you guys what I mean. But we did fill these other two more significant value gaps. They're much more broader, and regardless, these areas overlap with an accumulation area, both of them red. So that's good enough. There's no reason to force, want to see the price really come down, force it lower when we already come down into support well enough. But here's the thing, we don't have bullish confirmation just yet. So the foundation on IBIT, which I still have open, I have not modified it. It is Saturday right now, so it's like I can't even do anything regardless. But the idea is that we're looking for higher prices to potentially max out this resistance area in blue, topping out at 119.7k. This will allow the first value gap for a bullish move higher to be filled. This can potentially act, in my opinion, as strong resistance. The idea there is that as the price trends higher, we'll leave this one in yellow where it's at, but we'll use a new retracement area as it goes up higher for, let's just say the price, it went up, it came down. Let's just say it goes up higher. We can have strong resistance around 120, potentially 121k before we come down into wherever that retracement will be, and then go up and then see more fluctuations to the upside using these value gaps as short-term resistance to let the price retrace. So the idea there would be to follow the price higher with a simple retracement to where it tops out. Ideally, I'm looking at roughly 120k as a current estimate, and it will come down, find support within the retracement, and then same thing, we'll start moving it up using wherever the support ends up being. We'll follow the price higher to next potential resistance, and then again using it as support to just to keep an eye on how healthy these structures are, because I cannot just rely on the RSI when we are, approaching potential strong resistance areas where you can see volume shift. Just relying on the RSI isn't a good idea because it's not going to be very balanced when the price is moving up aggressively, right? So the idea there is that we're currently holding short-term value gap support. So this massive candle on the hourly chart um, created a massive value gap, and the 120 moving average is perfectly pretty much in the middle of it. And I followed the price up to where it maxed out with this retracement area. So that the idea here is that we can find support regardless of what the RSI says anytime, because market optimism, I believe, has been revised with that Friday Fed announcement where it they were pretty much very dovish, and that's very good for people that are long on these assets. So basically, quite simply, in the short term, we haven't broken any small picture resistances. So the idea is that this can still allow the price to come down lower. It can easily break below the yellow retracement support area, just because we have enough room all the way down to where this the bottom of the value gap is. So the yellow area isn't as significant as the green box, but regardless, the idea is that we find support somewhere within here and we push up into the next value gap where it overlaps very nicely with this resistance area, which is just a retracement from the swing high all the way down to the swing low. So the idea there is that we still have some short-term upward momentum, but regardless, even if we go up higher from here, the idea is that we are still in a bigger picture downtrend just from this structure alone. So even if we go up and we hit 119, 120K, we got to keep a close eye on that retracement that'll follow the price up higher once it finally breaks up over the swing high. At that point, technically we do have bullish confirmation, just like I've been keeping track of it here. It's going to be the same thing, right? It's where we break up like we did here. We broke up very nicely, breaking all these resistances. At that point, we have enough room and enough momentum to potentially hold support. So support could be in at the moment, but regardless, we can still come down to the 113.8K, and we can come all the way down to 112.8K. The idea is that we hold within the green and we don't break below this area. If we do, that's not a very much of a big deal, just because it will allow the price to come down to a much more proper value gap that we have down here. And this will be, in my opinion, high probability that it's very much a no-brainer buying opportunity. Since the bull market is still alive, in my opinion, there's no reason to say it's not, especially when we have all these potential rate cut optimism backwinds backing up the price. So as of right now, again, regardless of that, I am still looking for higher prices because this area in blue can be maxed out a bit more. These value gaps tend to act as magnets most of the time. And, well, I mean, there's definitely some bullish momentum here, and the price is holding above the 120 moving average. So we just have to be patient. If the momentum is truly there, we will potentially see this swing high being broken sometime from tomorrow's futures market open to no later than Tuesday's aftermarket close. So whenever the aftermarket is done, because there's still enough volume to influence influence this Bitcoin to still trade quite aggressively, right? So I'm giving it 3 days basically. If momentum is there, it can happen a lot sooner than that. But as of right now, again, very short term, we are in a little bit of downtrend, so we can still come down into support a little bit more. There's no reason to get super hyped about it. We still have a little bit here. The moment we break this small picture swing high, eyes are that most likely this one will be broken, and then we can go up a bit higher. Now, unfortunately, I cannot accumulate because I told you guys I would like to back up the IBIT Foundation trade position with BitU. The idea is to have IBIT running in the background during the swing trade and boost it with BitU. And I said I would like for it to either go up higher so I can sell at IBIT and then look for a new setup to start the trade again and lock in some profit. But then I said if the price comes down, hopefully it stays within the support gap into Monday's market open, because it will allow me to then accumulate BitU and back up the IBIT swing trade with some leveraged long Bitcoin ETF, right? So that's what I'm looking for right now. Again, we can still come down lower, but the idea is that we're holding support, and we can try to max out this area a bit more. And then at that point, regardless, we're keeping an eye on a retracement that I will have for you guys when it happens, because we got to make sure that we're being realistic on where support is strongest, and if it breaks, then we know very much well where it's a good idea to set some SLs, right? But that's the idea, right? We're going up higher. We're just in a simple retracement. We have a large value gap that is filled, but it can be filled a bit more. Again, higher prices is what I'm looking for, at least in the short term, for next week. Regardless of the rest of Saturday night, and then Sunday, we can still see potential this area filled a bit more. But then after that, I'm expecting higher prices. That's just what makes sense at the moment, based on value structures and investor sentiment, and where there's value within the structures. So with Mara stock, and I said this yesterday, and it's pretty much everything's the same. There's no reason to change it, because, well, it's the weekend and we're not going to see it trade. Bitcoin did come down a little bit into that retracement area, as expected, because it did go up into resistance. It didn't max it out much, so this retracement could be setting it up for a simple, more aggressive test of resistance, right? So with that being said, if it stays discounted regardless, even if it doesn't, the idea is that, and I said this many times, I'm going to say it for those of you that are new, we saw a very, very similar structure like this in Mara in 2024, and not just the structure alone, but all the characteristics within the macroeconomic world with reports, events, all these numbers, all these economic numbers coming out, and then optimism um, for shifts in the economy that would be beneficial for growth assets. All that's the same, and the structure is very much the same. I documented this, and it lasted for a few months. Although this one, I do believe we can see a break of structure happen. The other one I think took like 4 to 6 months before it actually had a break of structure and sustained. This one I believe it can happen sooner. But everything's the same too, where it started off very narrow. It came down into an overall support area. This support area in red is very, very similar, just like the one here, where we found a nice bottom to accumulate. We sold at the value gap up here, and then we had another chance to accumulate, and we sold within this extension area. Everything is the same. We're still holding support. There's no reason to be overly bearish on Mara until we break this swing low, which opens the pathway up for this, not up, but it opens the pathway for this uptrend to be invalidated. And at that point, SLs will be triggered. We're good. And then I gave you guys an estimate in a previous video, but if it happens, I'll actually put it up again and I'll leave it for an area to wait on to find a bottom when the uptrend breaks. But if it doesn't, again, we're still holding overall support, with the idea of the price still, if it's holding support and we're in an uptrend, until support is broken, and that will invalidate the uptrend. At that point, I'm still looking for higher prices. Although in the short term, for these higher prices, we have and there's a few ways of going about this. We have this value gap right here, overlapping with a simple retracement from the move from the high in the structure all the way down to the swing low. Actually, I think I can modify this a little bit more, because it did widen. So just like in 2024 too, it started off narrow, and it starts to widen while still keeping a pretty fair, respectable resistance. We're just bouncing up and down from resistance and support until we have a sustained break of structure. It can either be to the downside where it comes down, unlike here, it broke up into it very quickly. But the idea is it comes down, breaks below support, it goes up, uses it as resistance, and then we make a new low, and at that point, bearish momentum is building. On the opposite side, we're looking for higher prices, where it comes down, uses resistance as support, and then it goes up higher. If it breaks the swing high, then at that point, bullish momentum is taking over. That's how I'm looking at it. As of right now, we could potentially be seeing that, although most likely than not, we can just continue to see these short-term trade opportunities present themselves, where we use the point 0.5 retracement at $15.68 as a dividing point for discounted and premium prices, where it's simple. When we break below it and we start approaching the support area, the idea is that um, it opens the pathway for a simple um, like a 1 to 3 day long trade where we can continue to see the price bounce up and down, and as it continues, it will widen the channel, right? Just like in 2024, it's the same thing, narrow, and it begins to widen. As you can see, it's starting to widen. We can see that continue at this point, again, because we are trading this sideways channel until we have a break of structure sustainable to the upside, then there's no reason to be overly optimistic in one direction or the other. What's most realistic right now, in my opinion, is we're obviously trading within this sideways channel within overall support in the red, right? So at that point, it's simple. In my opinion, there's nothing wrong with continuing to trade this sideways channel until it sustains itself out of it. So at this point, I mean, I mentioned this multiple times. So if anyone was taking advantage of that, like congrats, like you obviously killed it. Where we went up into resistance. If you guys were taking puts or just waiting, you would have benefited from it. Um, if you're waiting to enter a long, you would have benefited. It worked out very perfectly. We broke below support and quickly recovered up all the way up into resistance. So hopefully, if anyone did take puts, you guys sold. But then same thing. Like before this happened, I was talking about this the same way to take advantage of this sideways channel until it has a sustained break of structure. So anyone that took calls or longs, congrats, like amazing trade. So right now, um, due to the current structure and the RSI, because the RSI is, in my opinion, very very solid when we're trading just sideways. So right now it looks like puts are the way to go for this week, or at least for the next the first 2 to 3 trading days. It can happen like Monday as well, but where we come down, break the point 0.5 retracement, enter into the short-term discounted opportunity based on this channel, and then from there continuing to you know profit from the upside, lock in profit, and then continuing to trade this the same way until it sustains itself into one direction or the other. So that's why SLs are very important. And because this channel is still quite narrow, SLs won't be too far away from buying opportunities. So like it's solid. I think this is a very beautiful setup. And if it does last as long as in 2024, like we have plenty of time to just take advantage of this. It's quite amazing. So there's a lot of people that say Mara has no value. Like it's a terrible stock. Well, it's providing always really, really good, solid trade opportunities. Like if you say the stock sucks, like don't invest in it, then just trade it. If you don't trust it, just trade it. Like we caught out, in this channel, and it was all just my opinion, but we caught out a very nice buying opportunity, an opportunity for last minute buyers if they missed out, and then we hit that value gap and we're good. We sold. There was a fake out, like it was good to sell. Being patient is very very important. We came down into support. We had two chances of it before just skyrocketing into the sell, take profit area. And now, as long as this uptrend is holding, and again, simple SL down here. If this is too aggressive for you, like do your own due diligence. Like look at the charts, look at your risk tolerance, your risk management, and set the SL at like 1430 or right here at this swing low. But just remember, like this can widen. We've seen it before, and now we're in this new accumulation area with strong short-term resistance. At that point, simple retracement following the price higher for health measurement of the rally, and then if it holds, boom, we're looking at take profit up here. But until that happens, again, there's nothing wrong with taking advantage of this sideways channel because it is very solid. As you can see, it's quite solid. The moment it breaks below the 0.5, good idea to start potentially accumulating longs. If we break below the support, might be a good idea to look at calls. with, set your SLs where it makes sense to you, and then same thing to the upside. Like if we come down and then we start breaking over the point 0.5, uh, keeping a close eye on it. I think there's some Mara short ETFs too, but like keeping a close eye on it, most likely will hit the resistance line in blue, and then easy, like you can even be safe with it too. Like there's a really good price spread right here where you can even do a 5 day out puts, in my opinion. And then boom, we break over the point 0.5, start locking in profit, and then continuing. It's I'm just repeating myself. This is the way to go, in my opinion, until we have a sustained break of structure into one direction or the other. And then from there, we will continue to adjust our trades and adjust the structures as they make sense. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.